Praise the Lord. Rethinking business and career in difficult times. Genesis 26. When you read through Genesis 26, what touched my heart was how Isaac, that's Jacob, and his team, they were able to persevere. Looking at the various wells that they dug, they will dig, and then the Amalekites, they will come, or the Amorites, they will come, and then eventually they take over, they destroy it, they will move on, and they kept on. They never stopped until they were able to get their own. And in life, especially during difficult times, perseverance is critical. Perseverance is very critical. The topic for tonight is agribusiness as an alternative source of income. So the key words, agribusiness, alternative sources of income. I think we all like money. And money is good, especially when you get it from the right source. Money is good, and it is useful, it is helpful, and we can also depend on it in our lives. There are three things in life that I think they are very critical to every human being on earth. Apart from air that God has given to us, and also water that God has given to us, three things that we need to survive. We need shelter, we need clothing, and we need food. If we don't have any of them, then most often we fall short of so many things. We look for other things as well, especially vehicles. We like cars. But I consider car even as one of the shelters. It's shelter in motion, shelter on wheels. So really, these three things are critical. But I think food is the most important thing among the three, because somebody can decide to sleep outside, but without food, the person cannot go on for a number of days. So today, we'll try and look at agribusiness. Okay. Right. So I have on the board my outline. I have introduction, agricultural subsectors in Ghana. Agribusiness, we'll try and define it. And then opportunities along agricultural value chains. Then steps towards a successful agribusiness investment journey. That aspect is critical. It's very important to me. And if we want to enter into agribusiness, we need to look at those steps carefully. And finally, we'll look at conclusions and questions and answers. Okay. Great. I picked this verse. Right, good. I picked this very verse where God gave us food. He gave us what we can eat. And it says, Genesis chapter 1, verse 29 to 30, says that, then God said, I give you every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth, and every tree that has fruit with seed in it, they will be yours for food. And to all the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and all the creatures that move along the ground, everything that has breath of life in it, I give every green plant for food. And it was so. Amen. This is what God gave us. And what are we doing with it? Before we go on to the next slide, let's look at Ghana. Unfortunately, we are not many over here, but we'll try. How many of us come from the five northern regions? The five northern regions. Anybody from the five northern regions? Wow. Okay, how many of us have ever been to any of the five northern regions? Great. Oh, fine. Beautiful. You help me today. Well, can you mention some of the food crops that we get from the 5 northern regions that you know of? You raise up your hand and then you give me. You mention your name and you mention what you do, right? You mention your name, what you do, and then you give me the food crop. Yes?
My name is
I want it to be interactive. Yes.
My name is Yasantwa.
Yasantwa.
Okay, so I work in University of Ghana.
Great.
I know they have millets and sorghum.
Good. That's okay. Millet and sorghum from the north. Yes. Your name, what do you do?
I'm Obu. I'm a vet officer.
But good.
I know of yam in the northern region.
Right. Thank you. Any more? Okay. Right.
My name is Wichidedu. I'm a public servant and a businessman.
Great.
We almost all cereals, let me put it that way, including rice, is from the north.
Right. Thank you. Now let's come to the middle belt. I'm talking of Brahafo. Bron East, Ahafo, Ashanti, Eastern. Yes, what do they have? Western. Sorry, Western is also part. I'll add Western.
Maize.
Yes.
They have yam as well.
Right.
Because people go to places at Tachima to bring maize, bring yam.
You can include 3 crops as well.
Cocoa.
Okay.
If you are including Western Ashanti, then obviously cocoa, coffee, the rubber plantation.
Right.
What is used for car tires, the rubber itself.
Great.
Then palm fruit.
Thank you. Any more?
Coconut.
The middle belt.
Mango.
Good. Great. Now let's come to the southern belt. Let's take Central region.
Central region.
And
we have
Central region, Greater Accra region, Volta region. Yes, you can add OT.
Volta region, you can talk of the fish farming.
Right.
Central region, coconut.
Sure.
Mango.
Yeah.
That is where I have my coconut and mango farm. So
Hey, let's clap for him. Hey, I didn't know that you have farms.
Yes.
Maybe one day, Pastor will take us there and then we'll go for a visit. Yes, we'll visit one AgriBusiness and then we can go to our brother's farm. Yes? Any more? Okay. Thank you very much. So you can see that in Ghana, we can surely say that God has blessed us. From the north to the south, every district, we can get food or tree crop there in this country. So God has indeed blessed us. It is up to us to utilize what he has given us so that we also can benefit from it. Okay. Yeah, saying that agriculture plays a key role in economic growth and is an important contributor to various sectors of the Ghanaian economy. This is true. Cocoa, coffee, maize, whatever you can think of. Without them, most of the things we cannot do in this country. Then it contributes to Ghana's export earnings. Yes. A lot of them. Cocoa, we have cocoa, coffee. What else go for? Pineapple, mango, yam. Quite a lot. Cashew, cola. You know, we export cola from Ghana to Nigeria. They take a lot of cola from us. So we have, and then we export forestry products from Ghana. Okay. Since that the sector employs about 50% of all those who are in gainful employment in Ghana, about 50% are in the agricultural sector and the agribusiness sector. That's quite a lot. And then we have, in 2022 alone, it contributed 21.7 to GDP. That's agriculture. In fact, it has fallen. It used to be 40%, and gradually it has been coming down. The service sector has taken over, followed by the manufacturing sector, industry. Then agric is next. But 21% is no joke. We hope we can improve upon it. There are so many crops that we can get in Ghana. So many crops. And we've mentioned a lot of them. We can talk of plantain. We can talk of cassava, maize, rice, yam, legumes, vegetables, carrots, coffee. And then we have tree crops as well. We can mention of cocoa, oil palm, rubber, coconut, mango, citrus, cashew, shea. And then livestock. All the ruminants and then non-ruminants as well as poultry. They are all here in Ghana. And then we can talk of the forestry, where we have the trees. And unfortunately, we are not planting enough. We are losing our forest cover as a nation. It's one of the areas that we also have to focus. The government is working on it, but it needs more attention. Because when the forest cover is gone, rainfall becomes a problem for the nation. Okay. The next slide, please. So we're talking about agribusiness as an alternative source of income. How many of us, apart from our elder, is it elder or deacon? Elder, right? Great. Deacon, who is into coconut plantation? Anybody who is into agriculture or agribusiness, apart from him? Anyone? What do you do? Oh, we didn't hear you. You process shea butter into other products, right? You and your wife, right? Pardon me? Right. Any more? But how many of us are also interested in going into agribusiness? Because we want it to be specific. We want it to be applicable. We want us to get this knowledge so that we can apply it. Okay, how many can I see by hands? Great. I think we are not that many, but if about 5 of us are interested in agriculture or agribusiness, that is good. Great. Now, I did mention that this agribusiness is a combination of 2 words, agriculture and then business. So we are talking about business, and we know what business is about. Business is mainly about having a business idea that you want to do A, B, C, D. You gather your resources, and then you apply these resources. You produce something, or you have a service that you deliver, and at the end of the day, you're going to make money, make profit, and sustain the business. Otherwise, it's not a business. You have to generate adequate income, and that income should be sustainable. It's not like somebody should give you money, you put the money in, no. At a point, the business should generate its own income. And then you can say that I have a business. Otherwise, it's not a business. Okay? So 2 words put together. Now, agribusiness is about the commercial aspect of agriculture. The commercial aspect of agriculture. And here we're talking of right from the farming to, that's the production aspect. From production, where do we go? I've named them. Production, we go to processing. We have storage, and we have distribution. All these are part of agribusiness. And any of them, you can target them. Can I see by show of hands how many of us have ever visited Texpo on Saturday? Texpo on Saturday. Especially the men. Where are they? Please raise up your hand. Yeah, if you want to enter into agribusiness, please, Saturday morning, one day, take time, go to Texpo and see what is happening there. You'll be amazed the kind of business the women and other men are doing over there. And you can look at the various products that are coming to the market. And there, you can see that you can also have a business idea even from that angle. How much is plantain today? If you remember, the ladies, one bunch of plantain in the market nowadays is costing how much? The last time I went there, it was about 100 cedis. And even one of them was getting to 150, 120. That is serious. If you have 10 of them, already you have 1,000 out there. Not long ago, during Christmas, it was around 30 to 50. And now look at where we are. Now, if you ask those who are into plantain chips processing, they will tell you that they can't process now because of the high cost of plantain. What did we do during the bumper harvest? There were some opportunities out there even to process. By this time, we could have had money out of it. Then we have these opportunities that we can tap into. There are opportunities that we can tap into in agribusiness. And one is input supply. Input supply, that's fertilizer, chemicals, they're all part of agribusiness. Farming itself, processing, storage, distribution, retailing, exporting, equipment supplies. These are all part of agribusiness that we can tap into and make money out of it. The imports that are coming into Ghana, you can't imagine. If you go to the harbor, food crops or food items that are coming, look at rice. Rice alone being imported into Ghana is huge, in millions of dollars. Chicken, poultry. If they had opportunity, they would even bring eggs and sell it in Ghana. So there are opportunities. The global market for agribusiness is huge. And countries who are doing well, they are making good money. Vietnam, China, US, they are all making money out of agriculture. But what about us? It is time for us to do something about it, because we cannot continue importing chicken. How many weeks does it take to produce chicken? Who knows? How many weeks? It's about 6 to 8 weeks to get chicken. But where do we find ourselves? So there are opportunities for us that we can tap into. So the next slide. Yeah. I'm trying to look at the value chain in agribusiness. The value chain. It is a chain of activities that each crop is made up of. So I took 2 examples, and the first one I have is pineapple. How many of us know how to eat pineapple? Do you eat it regularly? Okay. Not regularly. Okay. It's very nice. How many types of pineapple do we have in Ghana? Do you know? Anybody can mention one of them for us? Pineapple, the name, the variety of pineapple that we have in Ghana. Oh, you go to the market, you see them. The green one, what's the name? It's called sugarloaf. There's plenty of sugar in it, so they use sugarloaf. The green one, and slim, it's called sugarloaf. Then the original one that we used to have, especially those of us who come from the rural areas, it's called smooth cayenne. That was the original one that we had in Ghana. And then they brought another one that was imported from Costa Rica. And that one is called MD2. When you open it up, when you cut it open, it's yellowish. It is not bitter. It's quite sweet. But the original smooth cayenne, if it is fully grown, is the nicest to me. And then they have other ones called the queens and all those. So this is the value chain that we have for pineapple. So the production, we have our inputs going in there, and then after production, what do? We harvest. And harvesting, then there will be buyers who will go to the farm and buy and then distribute. So you can see the top one, where we have a market woman having plenty pineapple around her, selling them. Then, so that is the fresh one that we can sell. The next one is that we export pineapple fresh to European countries. And that's a man in, is it blue or green shirt? Yes. Trying to package it and then exporting it. And then we have the drying for export. They dry pineapple. They dry it. They pass it through dryers, machines, and eventually they get a nice package. They take a lot of the water away. And then they package it. And then from there too, we have those who are doing the juice, which most of us also, we love it. And you can do even some of this in your own home. You can do it, the juice. And then you process it, even for your family. And when your family finds it very nice, they can also eventually increase it. I have a friend. It's called Commander. When we were all working, we were working on a project. And Commander, we were all working as consultants. Commander has his Murano. That's Nizam Murano. He will go to the mango farms in Dodowa and Somenya during the season. He will go buy a lot, package them into five pieces or whatever, some in 3 pieces, and then he will bring it to the office in his Murano, and he will come. Yeah, there's 5 cedis, there's 10 cedis. You will buy. Commander is selling. You will buy. He didn't end it there. He continued, and now Commander has a processing factory that he and it's like it's a family business. They are processing pineapple, mango, and other products, and they are selling it locally. He started very small, and that's how it works. Let's look at the next one. Yeah, this is soya. I hope we've seen soya, the seeds. How many of us have not seen soya before? Soya bee. Yeah, if you go to the market, it's like it's a brownish, yellowish. That's the color. It's very, very useful in Ghana. We have it, we harvest, we aggregate. You can see the aggregators packing the soya into bags. And then from there, what do? They can sell it raw in the market. The market women, they sell it. And you go and buy, you use it. You can use it for your Tom Brown and other things. You can use it to produce your own milk. And then we have the processing factory. And we can get soya oil. The main, I'll say the main product that they get from processing is the cake. The cake is number 1. It's so important, and that's what we use in the poultry feed. So the cake will go to the poultry feed, and then we have the soya oil, and then we have the soya milk. So each crop that you can think of can have a value chain. Any crop that you can think of will have a value chain. So along each value chain, you can decide that this is where I want to pitch my camp. This is what I want to do. It can be from farming, production, processing, distribution, processing. You can do whatever you want, but there are things that you need to look at. And these are the steps that we are going to go through. Please, can we go to the next one? Yeah. It's a business. And as a business, the first thing is you have to have a viable business proposal. What is your idea? What do you really want to do? Refine it. You have to refine your business idea, looking for information. In short, you have to prepare a small business plan. It can be even 1 page. So that you know exactly what you want to do. Because in business, you need money. So if you are not careful, and you say, oh, Kofi is doing it, so I also start without thinking through, without knowing how to process it. You don't know your market. You don't know the financial viability, the technical skills you don't have. And then you want to start. You pump money in because you have the money. And then if you are not careful, you lose out. So, viable business proposal. Have a genuine interest and be committed. If you do not have interest, please don't go. It's hard work. We are in difficult times. So if you want to venture into any business, here we're talking of agribusiness, you need to dirty yourself. Agriculture is a bit dirty. For example, if you are into aquaculture and you are afraid of water, how can you do aquaculture? So the interest is critical. You have to have interest in whatever you are doing and be committed to it, because the journey can be long. Be committed. And then the next one is you need infrastructure, availability, and land space. For example, if you are going into farming, you need to know that if you want to do pineapple, maybe 1 acre might not be enough for commercial purposes. You might need maybe a minimum of 5 acres. You have to think through that. If you want to go into mango acreage, where can I get it? And if it is not only where you can get the land, and then you have to look at this area. Is it a place that you can grow mango? Because not every place that you can grow mango. In Ghana, where can we grow mango? Where in Ghana? Mango. Do we know? There are 2 main ecological zones that we can grow mango. Yes, mango grows in most places, but where we can have, especially these hybrid one, the big ones, Somenya, Dodowa area, that's where we grow them, and also Kintampo area. Somenya, they have 2 seasons for mango in Somenya and then Dodowa. But when you grow it in Kintampo, you have 1 season. You need to understand all the dynamics before you venture into it. Okay. Have adequate finance. Cash, sika, dete, you need it. You need the money to go into business. Where do you get the money from? Most often, if you are a startup, I will advise that don't go for a loan for a startup. Try and get it from your own sources. If not, maybe a family member can help. If you look at the interest rates that we have right now, even the banks, they will not give it to you for a startup. They will tell you that your business is too risky. And they want to come in. That's how it is. So you need your own sources of funds. And my advice is that start small. Start small. If you start small and it doesn't work, you don't lose much. But if you start big and it doesn't work, the loss can be great. Okay. Be mindful of risks involved. They say that agriculture is risky. Yes. Almost everything about life is also risky. Driving to this place is risky. Going to work is risky. Even at times, eating food can be risky. If it chokes you over here, you can see what happens. But you have to do things that you can minimize your risk. For example, if you are into vegetables, and you know for sure that these vegetables, they require water. So you have to find adequate water. Same thing applies to rice. If you are growing rice, water is critical. So you need to understand, if you are into vegetables and there are pests, you need to find ways of addressing that. That's a way of minimizing your risk. Not long ago, maize is still being attacked by that deadly, what do we call the insect? I think the zoologists will help us. Fall armyworm. You remember fall armyworm? They are still around. Very dangerous and destructive. So we need to know about the risks that we are taking. Have you looked at the market? Have you assessed the situation? Okay, so assess your risk. Be mindful of risk involved. And then, not that once you see the risk, find solution to it. It is risky. So what do I do to address it? Okay. Assess the market situation. No market, no business. If you do not have market, you don't have business. Produce the best quality. But if nobody will buy, your cash flow will be nil. And for business, cash is critical because cash is the lifeblood of every business. So you need to understand the market systems. I know of a lady in the church, Deaconess Sophia Minla. I think most of us, we know her. How many of us know her? I think, yes, Antoine, you know her? Sophia Minla Atta. Yes. She's a good friend. She's a teacher by profession. She still teaches. But she has been able to grow her business. She processes various food crops, especially food items, especially breakfast, cereals, and others. Today, I was talking to her in the morning to find out where she is in her business. And she was saying that, now I have 7 employees. I have about 17 different products. And I supply to Maxmart, Palace, so many of them. She's now going up. But she started small from the kitchen. But now she has grown. This is how businesses are done. And you and I, we can do it. We can do it. Amen. Be mindful of the seasons. If you are going into agribusiness, be mindful of the seasons. Even if you are not farming, but you are processing, be mindful of the seasons. It's not every time that your raw material base will be available. Even shea, you are into shea, right? It's not every time that you can get shea nuts to buy in the north. So you need to be careful. If you want to process the whole year, then when the season comes, you have to place your orders and you get your raw materials before the season goes off. So learn to know your season. Be mindful of the seasons. Okay. There will be natural forces. For agribusiness, there will be natural forces. At times we know that it will happen. Flood may come. So when you are going and they are giving you the land, understand where you are going to grow your crops. If it is flood-prone area, avoid it. So that when it becomes flooded, you will not be severely affected. So we have to be mindful of natural forces. I had a friend, he's older than me. He was into plantain production near Volta region, the Volta Lake. Now, during the rainy season, if you go there and you see this man and his farm, you will love it. You will clap for him. Then, after that, when the wind starts blowing and you go there, everything flat. That area was like a wind zone or whatever. It blows everything away, and this man was using irrigation and has pumped so much money into it. In the long run, he has to give up. So we should know all this. Environmental and regulatory laws in agriculture. There are laws governing where we sow seeds, and we should understand it. At times, you need to go to EPA for big commercial entities to seek certification before you do. They have to maybe do impact assessment for you before you can grow your plant. And at times, to the regulatory ones, those who are into food processing, maybe you need FDA, Food and Drugs Authority. You need their certificate. I think you have it, right? Otherwise, you will be penalized. At times, Ghana Standard Authority will come in. So we need to understand all this regulatory framework in Ghana if we want to go into agribusiness. Reliable workers. Hey, ASMO workers. They can do you or undo you. I've had that challenge before. We started poultry farm. We were so serious about it. We were four friends. We registered our business in Ojobi. Some of you might know Ojobi. And we're doing well. We reached about 3,000 beds. Then we got a technical person. This technical person We believed him. Every week we were going there because we are all working in Accra. Every week, Saturday, we would troop to the place. Not knowing that this guy was stealing us. Eventually, we were losing, and we lost out. So workers are critical. Please take time to hire a good worker. Take time to hire a good worker. Because a good worker is free. A bad worker is too expensive for you. It can damage your business. I have a friend. He's my client. And we were talking this week, saying that, I was asking about the business. He's into, he produces, it's more like a fertilizer. He said there's a fertilizer booster. He sells all over the country. And he's saying that, one of my market guys in Bron region has stolen a lot of our products, and we can't even find him. We've given it over to the police. Hire a good worker. Sit down, assess them before you hire. Assess them well before you hire. And if they are not helping you, please fire the person. At times, we use friends and other things. At times, even in the church. I wish that if somebody is looking for an employee, he will say, let's go to Pentecost. I'll get you one. It is very, very, very important to get a good worker. But when you get a good worker, please treat them well. Take good care of them so that they can also offer their best for you. They can do you or undo you. Apply the right technology. Now, technology is available. Farming, they have the drones and so many things. Look for it. Apply the right one so that you can increase, especially those who are into actual farming, the yield. Ghana, our biggest problem with agriculture is our yield. Our yields are so low, so that if you have 1 acre of rice farm or 1 hectare, you might be getting about 1.9 metric tons per hectare, whilst somebody in Vietnam might be getting about 2.5 metric tons per hectare. And you look at the difference, so they can sell it cheaper. We are all applying chemicals to the same land. We are applying labor. We are applying everything, but our yields are too small. We need to look for technology that will help us so that we can increase our yield. All fields. Talk about cassava. Talk about yam. Our yields are so small. It makes it very difficult for us to make money out of it. Okay. So, in conclusion, agribusiness has a great potential in Ghana to create wealth to individuals. That's you, me, and the nation. There are so many agricultural value chains for various crops. We've talked about livestock, fisheries, forestry, and all these crops. And we can get viable businesses out of it. Have the interest, I said it. Be committed and prepare adequately before venturing into agribusiness. Ensure that you have infrastructure available, adequate finance, your market, and then you document your risk mitigation measures. Employ the right workers. Adhere to environmental and regulatory laws. Be mindful of seasonality. Apply the right technology, and keep your records. Record keeping. And I think if we are able to do this, maybe one day our agribusiness venture can move into a higher level as others are doing. Thank you very much.
Amen. I think you have time for questions, if you have any questions to ask. Any question?
This question is for my young people. They have very good ideas that are agri-based, but they don't have the adequate funds like we're talking about, to be able to go into the business, the the business side of the agriculture. What do you advise? Right from school, I have a very good idea, but I don't have the money. I've worked around it. I've done some trials. It seems like it will work, but I don't have the money. What do you advise?
Okay. Yes, money is hard to come by, but at times you need to knock at some doors. At times you need to knock at some doors. As I said, it might be very difficult to get financing from the normal banking sources for a startup. What I also observe is that at times there are others who may have the money, but they are not in a position to do the actual agribusiness. If you approach them, you knock about 2 or 3 or 4, maybe somehow you might get it. I have an example. I have a nephew in Kumasi that I'm doing some business with him. And we had a problem. We needed to import a machine from China to do our business. So we had other partners. So we were 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, who are interested to team up with us. So we did everything, and we said, okay, you will pay so much. Everybody had a portion to pay. We all agreed. And then my nephew paid his. We used it as a deposit for the machine. Then I also sent mine to him to add on. Then we called the guys. One is in the UK, one is in China. And then the one in China said that my wife is saying that we pumped so money into Ghana for other businesses, it never worked, so we're out. And then the one in UK said that, he had problems with his visa, and he has to sort it out. So that one was out. So we were very hot. We pushed in money, and then we can't get the machine because we have to add on. So what I did was that I put it on my classmates' platform that this is my situation, I need funds, there's a business opportunity out there. If anyone is interested, please call me on the side. Some were making fun of me. Are you an old man? What are you going to do? Let's again. Go and enjoy your retirement. Then one called me on the side and said, okay, can we talk? And we talked. And he said, you guys, but I've come to Ghana. I'm coming to do something. Can I have a chat with your nephew about the business? And then I arranged a meeting for them in Kumasi. He went, and then eventually he said, I'm interested. I will give you the remaining amount. I will take so much shares, but you pay me so much. And we agreed to it. So at times we need to sell the idea to others, but we also have to be very careful. At times when you sell the idea to somebody, might just take it and then use it. But at times we need to knock at doors, and one of them will open. And so some of us who have some resources, please, when we hear such kind of thing, we should also step in. Ghana, getting venture capitals are so difficult, but we need to help ourselves. We need to help ourselves. I hope I've answered something.
I'm just adding to what he said. If you need funding, you have a business idea, you have to put it down in writing. You have to have a business plan.
Sure.
Not the business plans we've been seeing. It has to be professionally done.
Yeah.
Because the one reading the business plan, you look at the first page. If he's not impressed, that is it. So if you have the idea and you can't even write the business plan, you get somebody professional to write it for you.
Sure.
And you do network. We've spoken about this before. For most of us, even those of us who are working, there are some businesses, when the business plan is done, your financial capacity will not be able to do it. So you fall into your network. You use networking. We have WhatsApp groups. You have people at church. You know what they do. For most of us, I told you I have a farm, but I don't manage it.
Yeah.
And I didn't start the farm alone. I called 1 or 2 friends, and I told them about the idea, because a retired person was selling the coconut farm. So we bought it, and then bought the land around it to expand.
Sure.
So I brought people together. We got another land, I brought people together. So it doesn't have to be you alone. Yeah. You can get about 2 or 3 friends, people who are reliable. Yeah. You come together, put resources together, and you do it. We had another business where we picked one person because he wasn't working, graduate, but he wasn't working. Myself and John, and I told John that I don't have time. He doesn't have time. So the idea, what we decided to do is to bring on board somebody who will contribute more, but his time will be his contribution to manage it. So you can adopt those strategies. If you have a business and the business is good, you go to somebody who has money. Business plan well done. He knows the returns coming. You get somebody to support you. You get somebody, because those in business know that opportunities come when there are challenges.
Sure.
I'm sure that her boss is richer today. COVID brought so much opportunity to people. None of us was using Zoom. The owners are multi-billionaires today. So in terms of challenges like this, there are definitely opportunities. But the average Ghanaian, I keep saying that maybe our educational system is also partly responsible for the way we think and the way we do things. Go to school, read, chew, pour, that is it. And we have too many resources around us. That has also become an inhibiting factor. Because of the resources we have, we don't think. How can Israel be exporting food and we are importing food? Yeah. Because of their scarcity, they think, and we don't think. But if you have a business idea, first thing is to have it documented. Proper business plan. Use your network. If you have a business idea in this church, nothing stops you from going to pastor or presiding elder to say, I have this idea, I have a business plan. Among the church members, can you get someone for me who is reliable and who will be willing to partner me today? And I'm sure you will get it. Thank you.
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
I think some of us from this part of the world, our problem is resources, as we are saying. I believe PIWC have all kind of things that we can use to help the young ones coming. It's scary. Come and think of it. We have a lot of professionals here that even our young guys don't even know. I one time mentioned Edu right now, his name. The person has never seen him. Oh, yes. And I was telling him, you don't know? He said, no. Hey, that man, so huge, he doesn't know. So, I think it's time that we, the big guys, because I have to add myself. Yeah, I want to be a big man tomorrow, yeah. So, because I remember one time when Zoom Lion, Japan came to Glory, when we were in Glory. This, where he churches now, we have a lot of entrepreneurs there. Because they know there's a source that when they plan and they move to him, it's not all the time even money, but the ideas and the plans that the man will put in place for the young guys. So if Ededu is a powerful man, people don't know. That's that man. He's my junior brother. So powerful. We have veterinary doctor here. They should know so that if they want to venture into something, they can approach us. The young man who taught last 2 days, I was shocked. The IT guy. I was seriously shocked. Some of us thought we know him, and the guy made me small. We have nice notes. Oh, no, it's a fact. No, fact is fact. And for Mr. Adjei, he knows me. We've done IT for so many years. And we sat there. People don't even know what I do for a living. You understand? So I'm pleading with all the big guys in the church. Zoom Lion, big man, is sitting there. People don't know. When people are not taking you understand. Let's make ourselves available, knowing you, knowing me. Let the young guys know so that they can fetch. This church is full of money. I'm telling you, full of ideas. This guy, my nephew, is telling me that he works at KPMG. I don't know. We have big guys. Let's pull all our resources. The young ones, let's meet them. What we are doing is fantastic. Seriously. I've downloaded all from YouTube and share it among my children. This is what we're supposed to do. Bring out money so that if you want to buy something, you call 2-3 people, they buy it. Then we finish. I'm worried. Amen.
I have a question. My question is how to do with the natural factors or natural forces. So in case of any eventuality, is there any way that you can, let's say, insure your business so that in case of anything, you can salvage whatever that you lost?
Yeah, you have a point there. There is an insurance company in Ghana that there's an insurance company called AgriBusiness in Ghana that they're supposed to insure farms. They are still working. It's a long time that I spoke to them. But you can also insure your farm. It is possible. But the important thing is that if you are going into farming, please, the climatic conditions in that area you should understand and you should also learn so that at least you can reduce it. But you can combine it with insurance. Okay. Yeah, I think that's what you can do.
Mr. Adjei, thank you very much. Please, I didn't hear you say anything about this greenhouse technology that people are using now. I mean, as compared to the old farming method that we know, which one is more easier to do? And then what are the pros and cons?
Good. Well, I know the government currently has a big project on greenhouses. There's a company that is handling that, and they've established a lot, some in Dawenya and other places. And it's quite expensive to begin with. So it's not an easy thing for any person to establish. This is a project that they are doing. And so what they are doing right now is those who qualify, I mean, they have a way of qualifying people, and then they help you to establish it. And once it is established, then you'll be paying for it from the proceeds that you get. I think the most important thing, or what helps a lot with the greenhouse, is that most often you are not affected by these diseases and then pests. And then they have controls, serious controls with irrigation and other things. So to them, they are able to control the environment so you can get a better yield. And I've talking to them, they sell some of their produce to ShopRite and other higher market, the high end of the market as well. Now, compared to the normal one, the natural one that we do, definitely the cost is lower, but then the risks are higher. So you can start somewhere, and then eventually you move on to the greenhouses. But that one, you need a little bit of money to do it. But that one is less risky in terms of the produce that you can predict what you can get, actually.
Mr. Consultant in Agric, we thank you very much tonight.
Thank you.
You have actually enlightened us. But one thing I have observed is that even though agriculture is a difficult business, nevertheless, there is too much cheating. There is too much cheating among the farmers and those who buy from them. And because of that, we are not being blessed, even though we have a fruitful land. Because when you take the work of a farmer, the farmer will till the ground and then sow the seed. It will not germinate today or tomorrow, but it takes time. Praying for God to bring rain upon the farm. After all these things, the farmer will go out to sell his products or produce. Then he will be cheated by somebody who thinks he has more idea and has his money. And God looks at all these things. And so because of that, what God has blessed us with has now turned out to be a curse. You can imagine the land we have. God has blessed it. Secondly, we don't have idea for storage. We don't have idea at all. You can see pineapple, you can see watermelon, you can see mango. They perish quickly. Nevertheless, there has not been any businessman who will say that I will build a storage facilities for farmers so that even when there is excess, they will come and store and then they pay, like Eco Store. There has not been any idea. So when God has blessed us, and we cannot make use of what he has blessed us, then the enemy will come in. What will the enemy bring into our midst? A fertilizer that will destroy the land. Now look at it. Mango, for a long time, it is not perishable like now, what we see nowadays. Watermelon, the same thing. I am not a villager, but I've been in the village and I've seen my grandfather harvesting a lot of oranges. None of them perish like what we see today. So let us cultivate a good idea for what God has done for us and the cheaters in the system. Recently, if you see a television coverage, a woman who has harvested cocoa, a large plantation, and a Chinese man took a bulldozer and cleared all the farm. This very poor old lady approached the Chinese man on television coverage and said that this is what I live on in my family. The Chinese man said, who are you? I'll bought you and your government. Look at what he said. I'll bought you and your government. So, you, if you talk, I only say to you. This poor old lady went to police on a television coverage, and the police came to arrest the Chinese man. When I look at all these things, I pity the old lady, and I ask God, why all this? When you are in your own land, and when you are in this land, when it comes difficult and challenges, what God has given into us is farming, cattle rearing, and fishing. So if somebody has blessed with sons, and he has planted cocoa farm, and the Chinese man from far away has given somebody money in the land, took advantage of this old lady farm and clapped. Do you think God will watch and bless the land? Thank you.
Last question. Okay, let me give it to you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you will do justice to the question. The only thing I wanted to say to my brother is, it's like all you said, you virtually gave the answers. Yeah. One of them is this. You see, you're talking of the poor farmer being cheated. Yeah. The farmer is being cheated because, you see, for example, he's harvested tomato plenty. The businessman comes. He knows at the back of his mind that the farmer has no place to preserve it. Yeah. And so, whatever price he wants is what he gives. And the farmer wouldn't stand there to see all his toil rotten. Yeah. So he gives out. So the best is, like you said, in your submission, you kept giving answers yourself. The best is, if there are preservations, where the farmer knows that if I harvest my produce, and it can be kept here at the right time, because if I go to the market and the price that is given to me, it doesn't meet all that I've spent at the farm, I don't have to sell, as far as I can have a place to preserve it. So if the government can do better to help get preservations for us, to go a long way to help the poor farmer. Thank you very much.
I'm very careful to say the comment to come, but the comment said.
Our brother Sam will give us the last question, the last one.
Okay.
Mr. Adjei, please, per your experience, along
The value chain.
Yeah. Most of the people in Ghana, we prefer the not even distributing, like the retailing.
The retailing aspect, yeah.
But which other parts are juicy enough for people who don't want to really go and till the land? So, per your experience.
Well, that's interesting. I think the key thing is that you looking at the value chain, and then the juicy part, somebody is doing farming, And he's doing it so perfectly that he's making money from farming. He's doing it, he's applying all the necessary whatever systems that needs to be applied, he's applying them, so he's making money. Somebody might be doing the processing, and then the processing is also making money. Others might be retailing. But we also observe that most often the retail aspect make more money than the production aspect. Okay. But the retailing is also not very simple because you are dealing with the market, right? And it's quite challenging. But that's where most often you get more money. But when you are also processing, times when the processing is okay, you are doing everything right, you can also make money out of it. But the key thing is that look at the value chain, understand it, look at the market, look at the margins, and look at your strength, where you will fit. Because most often, if you are in Accra, not many are able to go and do the farming. So you can look at the other options and see where you will fit. And if you need help, some of us can also help you at a small fee. But to my friend, I think he has said so many things. And some of the things you made, you exhausted, you did well in also coming out with solutions. Some of them are beyond us. Some has to be done by the state. But in most cases, what happens is that, as our brother said, if you don't have other alternatives, like preservation, like processing, it becomes very difficult. And at times, too, the processing is not very simple. Look at watermelon. You know, watermelon is very perishable. Now, during the season, they have plenty. But if you want to process, it is a short period. So if you set up a processing factory to process watermelon, unless you have other products that you can also process, it becomes very difficult for you to make money. It's like you need a complete processing facility where you can process watermelon, you can process pineapple, you can process mango, so that each time you may have one particular product that you can process. Otherwise, it's becoming very difficult. But otherwise, that storage thing for fresh produce, unless you process, it will be difficult to store it. But this Chinese man, I understand there was one Chinese ambassador, and they were questioning, why are the Chinese coming over here? He said, but the Chinese people, when they come here, do they know the forest? It is ours. We do that. We give them the opportunity. In some countries, it will never happen. A foreigner going to somebody's farm, clearing the land, and Rollins will say, who born dog? Yeah, in some countries, you will be dealt with severely. But this is where we find ourselves. Okay. Right.
A clap offering unto the Lord. You can do it better.